Today, on Be Something Wonderful, feeling and embodying your wish fulfilled. I am your host, Tom Kieran, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I heard from one of our subscribers that has a very powerful manifesting story that she really wanted me to share with you. And I want to share this with you because what I love about her story and what I love about what she did is that it really highlights the importance of feeling and embodying that new reality, feeling and embodying that new identity, the fulfillment of that identity. In other words, impressing that subconscious, right? But really consciousness, because it's all one consciousness. Entering that reality, right? But what stands out here is persisting in it and feeling it, right? Repetition and emotion. And emotion is continually in the frequency of returning to that state and feeling it is what impresses it on the subconscious. Remember, the subconscious doesn't reject anything. It accepts everything. And the subconscious includes everything that ever is, was, or ever be, that greater subconscious. So it's not even the thing about reprogramming it. It includes all information. It's about dwelling in what you want. It's about consciously thinking, feeling, and believing of what you want now. But not once or twice, but a continual embodiment and feeling of that. That's what manifest your new state. So I want to talk about this is what, and a couple things that the subscriber did here that's really big. One, she was not trusting her inner authority or whether she was feeling or doing it right. She wasn't trusting in her imaginal act. She wasn't trusting in her techniques or processes. So she sat with that feeling. Right? Just like Lester Levinson talks about in the Sedona method, just like Dr. David R. Hawkins, she sat with the feeling of distrust, with the feeling that maybe I'm not trusting myself, I'm not doing this right, the feeling of questioning herself while she's imagining a wish fulfilled. And as she sat with this doubt and lack of trust, she realized that it really came from her always being corrected by her mom, right, when she was younger. Right, and her mom meant, well, her mom just wants her to be good at it. I know, Mom, you just want her to be good at it. But that's okay. And so in the idea of the Sedona method, Lester Levinson, Dr. David Hawkins, feel it. Feel it to the end and it ends. Feel it and release it. Right, whatever those triggered feelings are, whatever you feel that, quote, is blocking you. Right, because there's no such thing really as a block. There's just these feelings and thoughts that you're not that you keep thinking are you. Instead, feel it and feel it to the end. Right? She essentially released what Neville Goddard calls the old man, the old reality. That thought, that assumption of her mom correcting her was keeping her tied. Hear this, to her old identity, to her old reality. She hadn't let that go. She wasn't, nothing wrong with her imaginal act. She was feeling it okay, but she was feeling other things that she didn't let go of. And those were what was dominating her state, dominating her subconscious. Do you hear this? And that's all that she could be at that moment. So she let go of that old man, as Neville Goddard refers, no longer resisting the new identity or reality by hanging on to the old. That's big. Let's continue this. So what's the story? The story was she had an estranged brother, right? On and off for over 20 years since he got married, right? And his wife was part of it, right? And she and her mom hadn't seen him in more than 12 years. He wouldn't call. His sister, the subscriber in this case, would have to call him. But then it didn't go anywhere, but he never called his mom, right? And of course, mom only wanted to love him, right? And he just wasn't having it. Right? Part of it was this marriage that he was in, right? And there were issues there, but they were always reaching out. So what did the subscriber do? His sister. She imagined her brother calling her, reaching out, and she, in a good way, reaching out, hey, in like old times, and him putting his arm around his mom and putting his mom in a loving embrace. All of that. What's the implication here? It's not the scene. That's not where the power is. The power is in the implication. The implication that the brother is back. After being missing in action for 20 years, or not even calling for more than 12 years, that he's back and loving his sister and loving his mother and back feeling that love, right? And so she imagined that him wrapping his arms around his mother implies a powerful implication that he's back, right? He's no longer being influenced by his wife, right? Because part of it was his wife and so forth. They had a very unhealthy lifestyle, right? They were both having health issues with weight and other things, right? The manifestation, this is what she said. 3 days later, her brother proactively called her. 5 days later, he and his mom had a loving embrace. After 20 years. After 12 years of not even seeing him. Wow. There were other implications that the wife got sick actually and passed away. There are other things that happened. But this is big. What's the transformation? He completely changed. Completely changed. He apologized for being absent all those years. He wanted to get better. He wanted to be healthier. He wanted to feel deserving, to feel loving, right? He wanted all that. All of that was going back to his core beliefs and him not loving himself. But when she moved into her new identity of unconditional love, he moved in, she saw that reality of him, that alternative reality of him. Wow, and it was with feeling, right? So he apologized for being absent and wants to be there for the family, and now is taking care of himself and his health. So he's back. That's powerful. Let's unpack this a little bit. And I want to bring up the story that Neville Goddard talks about, the story in Genesis chapter 27. This is the story of the stolen, or quote, the deception, the blessing. Who are the players? It's Isaac and his sons Esau and Jacob. And Rebekah, Isaac's wife. She was also in on this deception. She was the one organizing it, right? But remember, all of these represent states of consciousness, right? Isaac, the father, who they said was old and blind, and there's significance there, right? We'll get to this. Is represented as consciousness in this case, awareness of being. Esau, the older son, always the two sons, right? Always the older son, represented, and they said he's the hairy son, represents the current manifested reality or the version of yourself, the objective state, the current version of yourself, right? The 3D reality that you're railing against, that you don't want anymore, right? The rough, hairy son, the rough 3D reality that you want to get. And then Jacob represent the smooth-skinned lad. What is that? That's your subjective state that you can't see yet in 3D reality. You can only feel and sense it, right? You can feel the smooth skin, or you can feel the hairy skin, right? So here's what Scripture said. And so what's the scheme? So Isaac wants to give, feels that he's getting old, he's blind, he can't see anymore, and wants to give Esau his blessing, the firstborn, the right of being born, the birthright, the right to be born. Hear this, the blessing, and sends Esau out hunting for some venison. And then they're going to come back and Isaac, they're going to eat, and then Esau is going to receive the blessing as the first son. Well, Rebekah, the mother and the mother of Jacob, Esau, and the wife of Isaac, hears about this plan and tells Jacob and schemes with Jacob another plan to get the blessing. And so Jacob then, Esau is gone. Jacob represents himself to Isaac as Esau. He puts on goat skin, right? Hairy goat skin, so we can have hairy hands and a hairy neck, right? And then, of course, Isaac feels him, right? Feels it. It's called, this is the feeling, right? He feels it real and believes it to be Esau, right? And so gives him the blessing. So we're going to go over this today. So the younger son, again, gets the blessing, gets the birthright. Remember, that younger son represents your desired state. That's a subjective state. And the objective state is your old self. The old self is sent away, sent out, as your desired state is pulled closer. We're going to talk about this. So Isaac says to Esau, my son, and he said to him, here I am. So this is Isaac first approaching or talking to Esau. Esau says, my son, and he said to him, here I am. Do you get it? It's your I amness. You're talking to your higher self. Here I am, right? This is your current reality. This is you in your current manifested reality saying, I am this. I am this state. I am this objective state. I am this version of myself, right? You're saying that to your higher self. So then what happens? So then Isaac sends Esau hunting. Bring me some game and that I may eat and bless you in the presence of the Lord. Or in other words, the law, right? Before my death. So he sends him hunting. But what's the significance of that? That's you sending your current reality, turning away from your objective reality. Remember, Isaac can't see. So he can only feel and sense the new reality. Do you see this? You can't see that new state yet. You can only feel and sense it. So he sends Esau your current manifested reality, sends him packing, sends him hunting. You're turning away now from your old state. You're leaving that old reality. This is big here. So Jacob desired the blessing or the birthright from his father. And knew of Isaac's plan to bless Esau. He knew because Rebekah got in on it. Right? Jacob and Rebekah joined to deceive Isaac into the blessing. And then this says in Genesis 27:11, behold, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I'm a smooth man. This is Jacob saying this to Rebekah when Rebekah tells him about the plan. Right? He says it here, my brother is a hairy man. That's the objective reality. That's the real world that you think is the solid reality. It's represented by Esau, the first son, right? That's always sent away. That's the old man that's let go. That's the hairy one, right? And then I am the smooth man. In other words, I'm the subjective state. I'm the desired state of being, right? Perhaps my father will feel me, then I'll be a deceiver in his sight. This is Jacob worried. Right? Because he doesn't know the whole plan yet about putting the goat skin on his hands and his neck, right? That Rebekah has. But he goes, maybe he'll feel me and believe I'm a deceiver in his sight. Well, he will be a deceiver, but not in his sight. Because remember, Isaac is blind. So he'll deceive him, but this is what we're doing. That's what you're doing, right? In your imagination, you're deceiving that old state, that conscious awareness of who you think you are right now, and you're rising in consciousness to your new state. Then Rebekah took the best garments of Esau, her elder son, Esau the elder son, the objective reality, the manifested reality that you no longer desire, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. And in other words, now the focus, the objective is now on your subjective state, your desired state, your wish fulfilled, what you want. And she put the skins of the young goats on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck, right, to dress him up. Right? You're imagining this is now your objective state. You're imagining what was formerly your desired state or your subjective state is now your objective reality, all in your imagination, right? So let's continue this. And this is what Neville Goddard says. Two things cannot occupy the same space at the same time. That's why Esau is sent hunting, because you can't occupy that new version of yourself, that new reality, when you're still holding on to your old state. This is what I like about what the subscriber did. Right? She sat with those feelings that she was having that were keeping her trapped in her old state. And then she let it go. Wow. big, then she felt it real, right? Your desired state, Jacob, is a point in time and space removed from the present. This is what Neville Goddard says. Your desired state is a point in time and space removed from the present. Right now. It's removed from the present because it's not an objective, manifested reality. But you're bringing it in, you're sensing it and feeling it. Make the here there, make the there here, the elsewhere here, in the future now. In other words, turn your attention from the old reality, from Esau, who got sent hunting, and supplant it. Remember, Jacob means the supplanter, right? The second son supplants the first son with your desired state. Sense it, feel it real. And then it said here, then he came, Jacob, to his father, Isaac, and said, my father, here I am. So now Isaac, through the scheme of Rebekah, his mother, has the goat skin on him and says to his father, he's pretending to be, hear this, he's imagining to be Esau, the older son, so he can get the blessing, right? So he can get the blessing from his father. Then he goes to his father, he says, here I am. There it is again. Here I am. Your I am awareness declaring who you are. But Isaac says, or that I am awareness, that unconditional awareness, who are you, my son? Who are you? This is a chance now. This is persisting. Do you see it? You're going to declare who you are. Here I am, but who are you? Please come close that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esau or not. This is you now pulling that subjective state, your wish fulfilled, closer, just as the subscriber did. She pulled it closer. She felt it real. She imagined it. She included her mom being hugged and embraced by her brother. Wow, that's feeling, ooh, it gives me tingles. That's feeling it real. Come closer, this is what Isaac says to Jacob, the supplanter. Come closer that I may feel you, whether you are my son. Of course, he's feeling now that goat skin on Esau. Esau sounds like, or Jacob sounds like, doesn't sound like Esau. But he's being deceived because, remember, Isaac is blind, right? That old Esau sent hunting. You're now left with your subjective state, which is what you want. You're going to pull it closer now, right? Come closer. Jacob, your desired reality or state is perceived in sense or imagined within, but not yet objectively seen or known. Do you hear this? Isaac is feeling it real. You're feeling it real. That state is perceived in sense, imagined within, but not yet objectively seen or known. Your subjective state, it's your subjective state seeking embodiment. That's what Jacob represents, your subjective state, your wish fulfilled, what you want, seeking embodiment and fulfillment. When consciously felt as real, it becomes objectified and supplants your undesired reality, or Esau. Do you see it? This is what my client did, right? Or not my client, the subscriber. She's not a client, but she's a subscriber. You do not grope in space after a desirable state. This is Neville Goddard. Like Isaac, you sit still and send your first son hunting by removing your attention from the objective world. Then, in the absence of your first son, Esau, you invite the desirable state, your second son, Jacob, to come close so that you may feel it. This is what the subscriber did. Remember, she sat with those feelings. She sat with and released those others, and then brought closer her imaginal act. Dropped the old reality. Let the old man go and brought closer her imaginal act. Do not grope. She didn't grope. in space after, where's my desired state? She imagined it. Like Isaac, you sit still and send your first son hunting by removing your attention from the objective world. Then, in the absence of your first son, Esau, you invite the desirable state, your second son, Jacob, to come close so that you may feel it. Very big. That's Neville Goddard. So, as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, this is from the scripture, Esau, his brother, came in from his hunting. Genesis 27:30. So as soon as Isaac finished blessing Jacob, the supplanter, Esau, the first son, came back from his hunting. This is you coming back. You're coming out of your imaginal act, and you're seeing that 3D reality again. But you're no longer, now you're seeing it from that new you, from that new version of yourself, from that new reality. You're right. You're seeing it, and then Isaac says, right, your consciousness, this is you saying, who are you? Who are you? You're in that new version of yourself. So now you're looking at 3D reality, and you're looking at conditions that are no longer who you are. Right? They no longer represent who you are. You're in that new reality. You're in that new version of yourself. So any conditions that do not align with your new reality, they're not who you are anymore. So that's what you're saying. You're saying, who are you? You're I am. Who are you? Yes. And then Esau says, well, I'm Esau. I'm your first son. He goes, well, too late. Right? Jacob gets the blessing. Yes, and he shall be blessed. It's done. This is you. As those 3D conditions come up, you go, I don't live there anymore. Sorry, too late. The new me has the blessing. I'm in my new reality, right? And then when Esau heard, this is the former objective state, he cried out with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, bless me, even me also, O Father. This comes from Scripture. This is your 3D reality, really showing you maybe opposites, maybe all hell's breaking loose, whatever's happening. But you're in your new state. You're not listening to any of it. You're in your new reality. This is what we're talking about. That's really what we mean by feeling and embodying your wish fulfilled. I am your host, Tom Karen, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button. Like and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. Follow us on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful. There's also a group called the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. That's a totally open group. It's not open to the public, but you can join it. And meaning it is open to you if you want to join, but it's a private group. So that means the postings are private. So you can ask to join. I will approve you, and then you can share insight and guidance with other members. Also, you can reach us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Karen. And guys, don't forget, there's now a membership option, and I released the first video this morning. Powerful. And so if you're already a member, I'm sure you're already enjoying it, or will enjoy it later. And there's a link now in the description that is the join link. So you can just hit that if you want to join. You don't have to, you're still going to get awesome content every day from me, but there'll be even more awesome content, additional awesome content on the channel like this morning that I released. So you can just join that. And also, guys, just anytime, go to our website at tomkaren.com or besomethingwonderful.com for all that information and more. With great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude, this is Tom. See you soon.